So serous tumors once again could be subclassified as serous cyst adenoma, borderline tumor, or serous cyst adenocarcinoma. Mucinous tumors, mucinous cyst adenomas, mucinous borderline tumors, and mucinous cyst adenocarcinomas. So this is how the serous cyst adenomas look like. Serous cyst adenoma, so they are benign tumor. You can see the cysts. There are plenty of cysts here. You can see the gross appearance with a huge amount of cystic material inside. If you look at this picture here, you can see this is a cystic fluid, a serous fluid. You can see almost transparent like a straw water. If you look at the cyst wall, they are very thin, fragile, and believe me, this is the entire ovary which is becoming cystic. Despite they are arising from the surface epithelium, but ultimately it will encroach on the entire ovary, and the entire ovary can be cystic, which contains this kind of pale yellow fluid. Now if we take a biopsy of this ovary, we can see this epithelium. You can see the cyst. If you look at this epithelium very carefully, we can appreciate some cilia here and there, tall columnar, which really we cannot see here, but this is what is the fluid contents, very pale straw color fluid, serous cyst adenoma of the ovary. Now serous cyst adenomas potentially can become malignant. So once they become malignant, we call it a serous cyst adenomas. But despite we call it a cyst adenocarcinomas, these tumors are classically solid. So once they become solid, they are malignant. Now serous cyst adenoma is a very important tumor of the ovary. I hope that you shall remember this name, this picture, so that it shall help you in the future. If you look at these tumors, this tumor has a plenty of papillary processes. So sometimes it is known as serous papillary cyst adenocarcinoma. So papillary word can be used to identify these tumors, and these tumors typically contains the samoma body, which is nothing but a dystrophic calcification, laminated dystrophic calcification, and these two features are helpful for the identification of the serous papillary cyst adenocarcinoma. So may I ask you, what is the marker of this tumor? I know there is a chocolate for that, but I don't know how to give it. This is CA125. So this tumor is solid, has papillary processes, with a samoma body that is nothing but a dystrophic calcification. You got it, right? Next we discuss the mucinous cyst adenomas. By the name you can suggest that it is a benign tumor. Now mucinous cyst adenoma, as I told you, this is a tumor that contains various kind of mucinous non-ciliated epithelium that resemble the endocervix, endo. You can look at this picture. Can we recognize this cell? I am trying to focus here. All these cells are all goblet cells. They produce a huge amount of mucin, and if you can look at this epithelium, they have got one single lining epithelial cells. So this is a mucinous cyst adenoma. In this particular case, it is a cystic tumor, so simply we can call it a benign tumor. So this is another important point to recall. If the surface epithelial tumor is cystic, it shall be benign. If it is solid, it should be malignant. So this is a malignant tumor of the mucinous epithelium. This is not very common, but these are very large, sometime can grow up to 12 to 14 centimeter in diameter. You can imagine how big it could be. Patient might think that she has a baby. In my experience, I have seen lot of tumors like that. These are the largest tumor of the ovary. Remember that, largest tumor of the ovary. Mucinous cystadenoma contains a huge amount of mucin, which is like a gelatinous material. Do you like jelly? So it is a kind of jelly. And these tumors, they often rupture because of the huge size. So what is the complication of this mucinous tumor could be? It doesn't matter whether it is a benign tumor, borderline tumor or a malignant tumor. All of them can rupture and spread these mucins inside the peritoneal cavity and produce a disease which is known as pseudomyxoma peritonei, and producing a extensive adhesion in the intestine, and this can produce obstruction. It is a dangerous condition. You open up the abdomen, you see the all intestine, abdomen, they are all mixed up together. You cannot separate them. All you can do, close the abdomen and come out and pray to God, because this disease has got no cure. So remember the complication of a mucinous ovarian tumor. And please remember that this type of tumors also can be seen in the appendix. So mucinous tumors can be seen in appendix as well as in the ovary. The complication is the pseudomyxoma peritonei. This is another tumor of the ovary, which is teratoma. I guess this is one of the most important tumor of the ovary. Once again, I would like to just tell you one thing, that keep this thing in the mind. If the ovarian tumor is cystic, it is benign. If the ovarian tumor is solid, it is malignant. Keep this thing in the mind. That should be very helpful for the teratoma of the ovary. Teratoma of the ovary by definition contains 3 germ cell layers. You all know that thing. Teratomas of the ovary can be 2 basic types. One is a benign teratoma and is a malignant teratoma. Benign teratomas are often known as mature teratoma, which is also known as dermoid cyst of the ovary. Look at the word cyst, which means this is benign. So benign teratoma is cystic, benign teratoma is mature, benign teratoma is known as dermoid cyst of the ovary. Why it is known as dermoid cyst, we shall discuss. But also remember that there are some teratomas of the ovary which are malignant, and if it is a malignant teratoma, we also can call it a immature teratoma, and invariably in this case it should be solid, solid. So what is the morphology of the benign cystic teratoma, or what is the morphology of the dermoid cyst of the ovary?